Hi, this is Carrie's Canary Quilts, and it's the second week of the Spooky and Sweet Quilt Along that Fat Quarter Shop is doing. Fat Quarter Shop puts this out as a free pattern each week. They do have a fabric kit, and I did buy the fabric kit this year. Last year when they did this quilt along, I didn't. I used my own fabrics, and the year before I did buy their fabric kit. So this year they're going with, I think it's Bella Solids. I don't know if it tells me on here. I think it's Bella Solids, and we've gotten gray and purple and green and lime colors and very Halloween-y colors. It's going to be really cute when it's done. So this was our first week, and that was a real puzzle to put together because there's just one cut of every piece, and that was really fun. This week we have what they're calling the Spirit Star and the Spooky Stars blocks. So this is kind of a different take on this block. I've done this type of block several times, and I really like the take that they did with this side of the hourglass. I think it looks really cool. I'm going to kind of walk through these blocks, but I'm going to show you that for the half square triangles, I'm using the It's So Emma triangle papers. Instead of doing it the way they do in here, you don't have to use those. I like to use them, and I have a ton of the papers, so that's what I'm going to do in here. I'm going to kind of show you how I do that and how I came up with the sizes I need. Other than that, it's really not very hard to put together, and it's a lot of fun. So I have all the links down below if you want to go grab the free patterns. They also have a cross stitch of the same thing if you want to do that, which they give out free patterns for that too. I don't cross stitch, but it's on the same page as the quilt patterns, so you get a 2-for-1 there. Anyway, hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you want to see how mine turns out. Let me know if you're doing this. I'm going to head over to the hashtag Spooky and Sweet QAL and see how everybody else's blocks are doing, and it's going to be fun. It's always fun. I love Halloween. But anyway, let's get started on our blocks. Week 2, Spirit Star and Spooky Stars block. So here's the Spirit Star, and here's the Spooky Star blocks. Not as much to cut this week as we had last week. One thing that I'm doing differently is I read through the pattern and I looked at the pieces we need and what they're going to be, and I found out that C and G, M and O are going to be half square triangles. And I have a ton of these It's So Emma half square triangles on a roll that I'm going to use those to make my half square triangles. They don't tell you to do that in this pattern, but I am going to do that. So that's what I've got here. I've got my 2-inch and I've got my 1.5 inch. So I have 8 of each here. I've already got them pinned together. I've got my purple and my gray and my green and gray. So I'm ready to make those, and I'm going to make those first, and I'll have them ready when I need them. So the rest of the pieces I've got out here. Like I said, there wasn't too much to cut. I think some of these are going to be subcut as we go along. Certainly let you know that as we get to them. So the first thing I'm going to do is put these together, and if you're not familiar with these triangles on a roll, they're paper pieces, and you can cut as many as you want out, and then you just cut the fabric to fit onto your piece of paper, and then you sew on the dotted lines in the direction of the arrows. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sew on these or dash lines in the direction of the arrows, and then I'll come back and get them cut up, and I'll have some half square triangles. All right, there's my triangles on a roll. I have sewn on the dash lines, and now what I can do is I can cut on the solid lines so that we end up with half square triangles. So I'm going to get these cut on all the solid lines. Alright, there we go. I got them all cut, and that's what my half square triangles look like. There's the green one, and here's the purple one. So I'm going to get these ironed in the direction the pattern says. I don't remember what it says, but I'm going to get these ironed. I'm going to get the tails cut off, and then these will be all ready for when I need them inside the pattern when we're getting to that point. All right, here's my half square triangles. They're finished. We're going to start with the green ones. I'm going to put the purple ones aside till later. Those are going into the 2 smaller blocks. But what we want to work on now is these corner blocks with the green half square triangles. So we need 4 of them. So I'm going to take 4 and stack them up, and we want them to point towards each other. This is pretty easy. I'm going to take our D piece, and we're just going to make a 4-patch corner like this, where our 2 green colors, our corners are going to be pointed at each other. So I'm going to get that done following the pattern, and then we'll move on to our hourglass right here. It's got 3 different colors in it. There's my 4 corners for the spirit star block. Next thing we're going to make is the hourglass unit that's right here. It's got a gray and a white side and 2 orange sides, and we're going to need 4 of those. So we need to grab K, A, and H. We have 2 Ks, and we are going to cut all 3 of these, or all 4 of these squares on the diagonal both ways. So we'll get 4 triangles out of each one. Just like that. I have all my pieces cut, and I have 4 of these, 4 of these, and 8 of these, and we need to make 4 hourglass units. So all 4 of the white and all 4 of the gray are going to go opposite of each other like this, and then for the orange, go opposite each other. So now we'll put them together like this, and I'm going to iron mine towards the orange, and so when we put these 2 rows together, it will nest in the middle. I finished my hourglass. They turned out really pretty. I did have to trim them to size, so I'm going to set these over here. So I'm going to tell you, when I was reading through this pattern, at the same time I was talking to my son. So we need 8 half square triangles with the purple and the gray, but we're also going to need 8 with the purple and the white. So I've got to do that too. So that I also said the G was half square triangles, but it's not. The half square triangles are going to be C, I, M, and O. Our G is going to be used next here. It's going to be this section right next to our hourglass. That's where our G and our J are, these 2 pieces right here. So I'm going to finish up getting the rest of my half square triangles from the white and the purple. But we also need to take our G's and our J's, and we need to mark our G on the diagonal, and we need to make 4 that are this direction, sewn on this direction, and 4 that are going to be sewn on this direction. So I'm going to get these done. We'll sew on the line, trim 1/4 of an inch, and we're ironing towards the corner. All right, here's the sides for our hourglass unit. You want to make sure that these gray corners are next to the hourglass and they're on the same side as the gray side of the hourglass. I also got my white and purple half square triangles done. So apologize for that. All right, I'm going to get these put together, iron towards the edges, and then next we put this center square and a square together, the purple and the white. There's my 4 hourglass units. So now we need to take N and I, and we want to draw a diagonal on our I. We'll do it on all 4 of them. And then once we've got our diagonals on, we're going to sew these into each corner. We're going to sew on the line, trim 1/4 of an inch from the seam, and then iron towards the corner. And I'm going to do that in the 2 opposite corners, And once I get those ironed, I'm going to come back and do the 2 other corners. There's my square and a square for the center. And now we can start putting this together. So we want our corners so that the gray squares are on the diagonal here towards the center. That's the best way I can say it, I guess. And then we want our white part of our hourglass next to the center of this block. And there we go. So now it's a 9 patch, and that's how I'm going to put it together per the instructions. There's our Spirit Star block. That is really, really pretty. Not too hard to put together either. So next is our Spooky Stars block, and all we need for that is our 2 L pieces, our white and purple half square triangles, and our gray and purple half square triangles. So we have 2 of these because we're going to make 2 blocks. I'm going to put those in the center. And then our white ones, I need 2, are going to go around it like this. I see them as always pointing towards the next block. That's how I see it. Now our gray ones are going to go in the corners, and it'll be like this, like that, like that, and like that. All right, so again, we have got a 9 patch that I'm going to put together according to the pattern. And then we'll come back and we're going to put these 2 blocks together with a little piece in between. And you know what? I need to put 2 pieces on the side of this too. We'll do that when we come back. We'll do all of that at the same time. All right, here's my Spooky Stars completed. Now we're going to take our F and we're going to put it in between our 2 Spooky Stars. Sew them together and iron towards the F. And then I have 2 E's, and those are going to go on opposite sides of our Spirit Star. And then our blocks will be done for this week. I love doing these. They're really pretty. Well, I guess Jingles likes it too. Mr. Jingles, you're not using the way. You are in the way. There we go. Our week 2 Spirit Star, which is this one, and Spooky Star blocks, which are those 2. So, turned out really cool. They turned out really cool. They're gonna look good with my ghosty block, which is I have in here. If you watched last week, it's really big. And I'm looking forward to what this quilt might look like. It makes me wonder if maybe our ghost is going to be all one side of the quilt, like the left side or the right side or something. But anyway, hit the subscribe button, notification bell if you want to see how this turns out. Let me know if you're doing this quilt. Let me know if you bought the fabric kit. I do have all the links down below to the pattern and the fabric kit if it's still available. If you want to get started on this too, it'll still be available even after this quilt along at Fat Quarter Shop. The other thing I'm going to do is I am going to go out to the hashtag Spooky and Sweet QAL and see what everybody else's blocks look like. But I'm really happy. I like it. I like the solid colors. It looks really good. But anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!